pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our next agenda item is the review of the agenda. This is it is our monthly meeting, however, because we moved the location from the board office, it's actually a special call board meeting, so we cannot change the agenda. So I just need a motion to adopt the agenda as is.
Make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Kaiser, second by Mr. Dorsey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Our next agenda item is consider approval of minutes from the regular board meeting on February the 24th, 2026.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Kaiser,
Also.
second by Ms. Thomas. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. And now our next agenda item are Clark County Public School recognitions. Sorry.
Clark County Board of Education recognitions are greatness recognitions, and they honor staff, students, and community members who exemplify the competencies of our portrait of a Clark County learner. So we're happy to present several greatness awards tonight. We're going to start with Ms. Bush. Okay.
It is my pleasure to be here as I feel incredibly grateful for our community members, to everyone who has walked through our doors to volunteer their time or have donated monetarily to support our mission. Thank you very much. This evening we wanted to talk about our RDC construction class, our GRC welding class, and our East Kentucky Power Corporation. A pollinator garden isn't just a landscaping project, it's a living classroom. It moves science off the page into a student's hands, turning a patch of dirt into a tangible web of life. We aren't just growing flowers, we're growing stewards. We're giving our kids we are giving our kids the agency to protect the species that sustains us all, proving that we have the power to heal a small corner of the earth right here at the center for all to see. This evening we would like to have our GRC welding class honored Oliver Hutchins, Houston Heath, Nathan Hoskins, and James Willoughby, the instructor. As you go out the door, you'll see a large welding piece of metal that is a pollinator structure, and they constructed that by themselves. Gentlemen, if you would please come up. RDC's construction class, Josiah Hurd, Coleman Watts, Jaden Maines, Juan Hanez, Christian Ritchie, and Mark Whiteside is the teacher instructor. They have constructed the entire wood frame that you see out there that is the inside of the pollinator. East Kentucky Power staff who provided the plans, educational visits to the RDC construction class, funding and materials to construct the pollinator in the observatory. Tonight, we thank East Kentucky Power Cooperative, Kelly Schooler, Chris Carpenter, Nick Comer, and Jerry Purvis. If you would please come up. Choosing the indoor court means the weather never gets a vote in our well-being. We play to bring our heart's resiliency, our movement fluid, and our connections deep. So if you're ready to transform your health, don't hunt for a gym, search for a community. Pick up a paddle, step into the hardwood, and join the rally. Your body and your spirit will be better for it. Mr. Darren Henry and Stockyards Bank has graciously donated 2 indoor pickleball courts for our community center to use. We thank you for your generosity, and at this time, Stockyards Bank, Mr. Darren Henry, and Mr. Alan Lunsford could be with us tonight. Not only did Lowe's donate all the high-quality materials to transform our entranceway out front, but their team also donated their most valuable asset, their time. 12 employees rolled up their sleeves and put in hard work to ensure our space looks absolutely the best. This spring, it will come back to life. Partnerships like this make our community thrive. To the management and hands-on crew at Lowe's, thank you for your generosity, hard work, and your investing in this vision. We greatly appreciate you. And that is Mr. Pete Pinachet and his crew. Music just doesn't fill a room. It transforms the person playing it. It keeps your brain young, your hands steady, and your spirit resilient. So pick up a guitar or sit at the keys. Your body will thank you for years to come. On behalf of the center, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude to the owners of Guitar Works. The donation of 7 brand new guitars is an extraordinary gift that will have a lasting impact on the music program. Thank you for your kindness and your investing in the next generation of musicians. We have Miss Lisa Swafford, Scott Leedy, and Roy Bowen. The first blow of the hammer gives a sculpture its shape, but the final grain of sandpaper gives it its soul. I want to say a huge thank you for the hard work that was put into the end of the project. Between getting 12 electronic pianos and the stools together, heavy lifting for the concrete, metal frame and wood construction for the pollinator, we truly have seen you go beyond, and we worked together as a team and the expert in the sweat that it took. We are so grateful for your help. I know this will cost me for years to come. My husband, Russell Bush. Sorry. If you see that thing out there, you know what I'm talking about. A gift rooted in a shared mission is the greatest support we can receive. Thank you for believing in the center. Your contribution is more than a donation. It is a belief that helps us turn our mission into reality for the community. A heartfelt thank you to the generous donation to Gerald and Donna McNutt. A breath of fresh air is exactly what this center needed. I want to send a huge thank you for the incredible donation toward the air conditioning in our main hall, which is the gymnasium. At the largest room in the building, it is the heart of our community events. Thanks to you, we can now host everything from summer community events, town halls, and sporting activities in total comfort. You haven't just donated a piece of equipment, you made it possible for us to keep the community together all year long, regardless of the temperature outside. We can't wait to have you over for our first cool event for the season. This huge thank you goes to the Winchester Industrial Authority Board for our air conditioning in the gymnasium. Thank you very much.
Good evening. We would like to extend our sincere appreciation to the Greater Clark Foundation for partnering with Clark County Public Schools to expand opportunities for students beyond the traditional school year. We are especially grateful for your partnership and your commitment to working alongside Clark County Public Schools to grow greatness in our community. This partnership has significantly enhanced educational opportunities, particularly in improving literacy outcomes for our students. Through the Foundation's generous support of the Literacy Liftoff program, we have seen tremendous gains. Students' literacy scores have improved significantly, and even more importantly, they have developed a lasting love for reading that will continue well beyond the duration of the program. The Greater Clark Foundation has truly exemplified the engaged citizen competency at the highest level. Thank you for your continued partnership in helping us grow greatness. At this time, we would like to recognize Sarah Walters, Darren Henry, and Mary T. Yiser.
We're gonna do a go-karts on that one? Go-kart.
Okay, the Gifted and Talented team would like to honor the RDC Morphine Mentors for their exceptional leadership and mentorship during our magical day of morphines that we held at RDC. These students were instrumental in guiding and encouraging our visiting fourth graders, fostering meaningful relationships, and supporting each activity, whether it be wand making, castle building, spell creating, all the Harry Potter themed things they did that day. With creativity, patience, and positivity with their younger peers. Their dedication to mentoring helped make the event engaging, memorable, and magical for some of our youngest learners. Students also volunteered their time by attending a training session and having to make up all the work that they missed in class. They truly are empowered leaders helping to build a community of learners. So, I think, yes, one of these and one of these. Okay, Kai Armani, Merritt Herringshaw, Hunter Sadler, Lila Smith, Amelia Kafka-Sebesta, Genevieve Maldonado, Sadie Gilliam, Brody Schmid, Keegan Flores, Jaden Maines, James Boland, Emerson Kincaid, and Carson Blackwell.
okay, next gen, Ms. Biffin set up some meetings for admin to meet with them. And two of the things that they brought up to us were very important and really resonated with us as an admin. They wanted us to think about how we can integrate the portrait work, specifically asking two questions. Number one, how can we get students talking about their learning? And number two, how can we get them to talk about their learning in front of an audience, a more authentic audience that's not their teacher? So those two questions really resonated with us, and the next Tuesday I was able to talk with teachers and PLCs about how we can do that more authentically as a school. And it's always great as an admin when you plant the seeds and somebody just takes it and runs with it. We love to coach people up and we love to help people through the process, but it's really wonderful to see when somebody just takes the lead, right, and just runs with ideas that we're working on as a school. So my recognition tonight is to Miss Jasmine Perry. She's one of our English teachers. And she did an activity recently where she connected Senator Elkins. Mr. Howard always talks about connecting the community. And she had her seniors write a bill and in regards to topics that were important to them. And she had them talk about their bills and show, debate their bills in like a Senate-like simulation. And she had Senator Elkins come in and talk with the kids. And they got to simulate what the Senate process is like and talk to Senator Elkins about their bills. So I'm just really proud of Ms. Perry, and when she did that, I was like, this is amazing, and I wanted her to be recognized for that wonderful achievement that she did. Thank you so much.
Hi, I am Christina Covington-Jones. I work at Carter Innovation Center. I'm better known as COJO. We were sent an email to send something special about someone in our building, and so another teacher sent in something special about Ms. Calloway, but because of her schedule, she was never able to come in. So she's very deserving, and I decided to write something in recognition of her. So when I think of Tammy Calloway, I think of her as the heart of Clark County education, specifically Phoenix. The district's portrait of learning comes to life through Tammy, as she consistently demonstrates every aspect of it. She is an empowered leader, she is a resilient learner, she is an effective communicator, a reflective innovator, an engaged citizen, and a committed collaborator. For 24 years, Tammy has poured herself into others. She has lifted people up, believed in them when they didn't believe in themselves, quietly made a difference in ways that can't always be measured. The people who walk into her life as co-workers don't stay just that, they leave as her family. That is the kind of impact she has on everyone that comes in our building. Tammy does not carry the formal title of a principal, a counselor, or a teacher. She is actually an instructional assistant, but she carries an entrusting love from students and her staff. She carries the stories of lives she's changed, the people she's inspired, and the countless moments where she made someone feel unseen, valued, and important, even in her lowest times. They say that we should give their people their flowers while they are still here. There are no words that could ever fully express what Tammy means to so many. For every life she's touched, every heart she's lifted, every person she's made better. Tammy, you matter more than words can say, and so many of us are better people because of you. And for me and all that you have impacted in our lives, we want to say thank you, and you are more deserving for this. Ms. Tammy.
got 4 teachers who are demonstrating greatness as empowered leaders. These 4 teachers demonstrated this by driving innovation across our district on a daily basis. Their leadership was recently exemplified in their securing over $2,600 in grant funding specifically to bolster the STLP programs at RDC, Concrete, Strode Station, and Shear. STLP, for those that don't know, stands for Student Technology Leadership Program. It's been around for many, many years. It gives students the opportunity to strengthen and showcase all of the portrait of the Clark County learner competencies. Due to their hard work, these funds will be used to empower students with high-level tools for communication through multimedia, building their own leadership skills, collaborating and reflecting on community-based projects, and basically showcasing their overall creativity. These 4 staff members recognized a need and took proactive steps to meet that need. And so our 4 awardees are Jennifer Turley, and Stacy Carrington, and Robbie Surgeon, and the STLP legend herself, Monica Martin.
Damn, the core reunion right here. These are right.
Good evening, I'm Sarah Mayhem from Clark County Preschool, and this evening, I should come with a fair warning, I'm a crier, so hang in there with me. This evening, I am honored to present an award to an amazing colleague. While all Clark County School employees are growing greatness across the district, I would like to recognize Ms. Emily Banks. I admire her leadership, told you, crier, advocacy for early childhood and the students in her classroom. I am blessed to be the classroom across the hall where I catch little glimpses of love and support that she demonstrates daily for her students and teammates that are new to early childhood. We have been able to collaborate after school and share ideas on how to help our students grow. She truly meets students where they are and helps them grow greatness. Yet again, I am blessed to not only learn from an amazing and power leader, but also a friend. Emily Banks has stayed many days after school to help others in our building, including myself, prepare for upcoming observations, empower new teachers, and share her wisdom on Head Start, collaborate with lesson activities, share ideas with others, and support the mental health of her coworkers. My list could go on and on. To me, Emily Banks encompasses all of the wonderful qualities of Portrait of a Learner. She continues each and every day to grow greatness and inspire others. I look forward to all the wonderful things that she will do for the Clark County Preschool and throughout the year. Thank you.
Whoa, Briar, come on back. Mix it down.
Woo, go Little Cards!
Are there any public comments? Thank you.
Did he get up yet?
I like Ed Rising, the GRC Kirby Brock, Educators Rising.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Herbie Brock. I'm the sponsor of Educators Rising, a new new club at GRC. We come here for a couple reasons today. First, to thank the board for all the help they've given us so far this year. Specifically, the transportation costs that they've helped us visit the University of Louisville College of Education, Berea College Education Studies Department. We saw a regional conference at NKU, and we just returned from the state conference at the Kentucky Expo Center, where I've got 8 of the best aspiring educators that Kentucky has to offer right here in front of you. These guys have, in the past year, been in our elementary schools, job shadowing, observing, and even teaching lessons, reading their children's books that they've created, and really have, and they're all freshmen, which I just want to point that out. They're all freshmen, and they're doing such a great job. So they're doing all this for a competition. These job shadowing experiences, these interviews that they're giving, and these lesson plans, they're submitting them to professors who are going over them and deciding who had the best lesson plans in the state. And I've got the best lesson plans in the state right here. They said who had the best job shadowing experiences in the state, and we've got them right here. And so what we're here to talk to you guys about, they're going to tell you what the best part, what the best part of Ed Rising is, and what they look forward to as we shoot for the stars and try to go to nationals in Portland, Oregon in June. We've done we've done very conservative budgeting and got it down to $7,500, and we've already raised $2,500 through community sponsorships and also a learn-a-thon, which is like a walk-a-thon, but instead of sponsoring a student for a lap, you sponsor them to answer a question. And the test that they're taking is a 100-question test over educational methods and theories. So they're going to take this test. You sponsor for $1 a question. That's $100. So we're raising money that way. We're trying to pick up as much as we can, but we're just here to let you guys know that if there's any way you guys can help us any further, we do greatly appreciate that. And then each person has something to say real quick. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Pryor.
Good afternoon. My name is Bailey Henry. I'm a freshman at GRC who competed in creating a lesson plan about healthcare. I taught my lesson in Miss Amy's kindergarten class at Stroh Station Elementary. I placed 3rd in the state, and I'm excited to go to nationals because it is a great opportunity to represent Clark County, gain new experience, and hopefully encourage more people to join Educators Rising Club.
Hello everyone, I am Bryson Gillespie. I'm a freshman, of course. I competed in a job shadow for GRC's library. I placed in 8th. I'm excited to go to nationals, mainly to meet new people, have new experiences, and I want to guide new students or even older students that never got the chance to do this and get them into the club to make a bigger impact for GRC.
My name is Bryce Dorsey, and I'm a freshman at GRC who competed in the Children's Pre-K book in Louisville for state and placed 9th. I'm very, very eager to go to nationals because I think it would be a great learning experience and a good way to represent GRC. I would like to also show people the effect that Educators Rising will have for jobs and teaching the next generation of students for the future.
My name is Riley DiCaprio. I'm a freshman who helped create a children's book called Tilly's Tiny Garden, placed at 9th in state. I am excited to go to nationals because it's a good opportunity to try new things, represent GRC, and to experience competing against others.
Hello, my name is Kristen Nergin. I'm a freshman, and I competed in
I job shadowed the Concord principal, Miss Ford, and I played Kansas City. And I'm excited to go to Oregon because it would be my first time going, and it would be a fun memory to think back on.
Hello, my name is Lucas Mullins, and I'm a freshman who competed in creating a lesson plan about state capitals. I taught my lesson to Mrs. Closlett's third grade class at Strode Station Elementary and placed fifth in the state. I'm excited to go to nationals because I could represent my county and teach to people who want to be teachers.
I'm Rylan Tate. I job shadowed the band teacher at RDC, Mr. Schmid, and I placed 11th in my competition. I'm excited to go to nationals because I think at least one of us will place.
Hello, my name is Adrian Welch, and I am a member of the Educators Rising program here in Clark County. I did a lesson plan about the roads here in Clark County, Kentucky, which got me third in the state in my category. I cannot wait to go to nationals. I've always wanted to go to Oregon. So much history there, which just so happens to be my very favorite subject. And to get there, some funds would be much appreciated. Thank you for your time.
One more quick thing, guys. Raise your hand if you've never flown on a plane before. So it's going to be a lot. If we can get this done, it'll be a huge experience. Thank you guys very much for your time.
Thank you.
Mrs. David Brady can come on up. All Miss Kim.
You guys did great. So proud of you.
Here's some high I'm gonna assume this is our pseudo podium, so we'll just make it work. I'm Jada Brady, your Clark County PVA. I'd like to wish you all good evening. I just want to start by extending an invitation to each of you and the community that we serve. The PVA office is hosting a property reassessment meeting focused on education and transparency, and I would encourage each of you to attend. Thank you, Mr. Kaiser, for attending last year. I believe you saw firsthand the value of hearing directly from the constituents and myself about PVA. If you're unable to attend, I would encourage you to sit in on one of my open book sessions. That'll be May 4th through May 18th. That includes Saturdays, if that works better for you. This is an opportunity for property owners to come in, review their assessments, and have real conversations with our office. As we move into the new year, one thing is clear: property values have not decreased. In fact, in the 40391 area, the median home price has increased by 4.3%, now sitting at $261,000. But these continued increases will not last forever. Now is the time to be mindful. Now is the time to keep tax rates as low as possible so that when the market levels out and difficult decisions need to be made, you can confidently say that you did everything to do to support the community beforehand. As you begin your budget discussions, I want to remind you of something important. The Sheriff's Office has currently collected 97.68% of all property taxes from 2025. If you utilize that collection total in your calculations, you will be able to take compensating rate with no issue and still receive additional revenue from new construction and growth, all without placing an unnecessary burden on taxpayers. Over the past year, I have made it a priority to better understand your role. I have spent time in the schools, I've continued my volunteer efforts, I even had the opportunity to be principal of the day at the preschool. Not because I had to, but because I believe understanding leads to better leadership. This is not about doing less for the students. This is about living out your motto, we, not me.
In a perfect world, every entity involved in constructing the total tax bill would work together. But this isn't a perfect world, it just needs to be intentional. We all serve the same people, we all answer to the same community, and the decisions we make individually directly impact everyone as a whole. That's why collaboration matters. Over the past year, I have made an effort to better understand your role and will continue to do so. And I want you to know this, my office is here as a resource. Whether it's data, education, or helping walk through the impact of decisions before they are made, we are here to support you in any way that we can. And with that, I want to make my clear request. For 2026, I encourage you to take only the compensating tax rate. Right now, you have an opportunity to set up the budget to make that possible. By doing so, you would maintain stability for the taxpayers while still benefiting from new construction and the growth in our community. Because when we communicate, when we share information, and when we work together, we put ourselves in the best position to do what's best for the community as a whole. This is truly how we live, we not me. Thank you very much, and as always, go Cards.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Our next agenda item is consider approval of updated 2025-2026 modified school calendar. Mr. King.
Good evening. The calendar that you have that you'll be looking at is modified. If approved, it would be 171 instructional days for giving one of those snow days. That would keep the students still last day on Thursday, May the 26th. 21st, but the bifocals. So Thursday, May 21st.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Do we have any discussion? All those in favor say aye to approve the updated 2025-2026 modified school calendar.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Okay. Our next agenda item is consider approval of GRC high school graduation on May 22nd, 2026 at 7 p.m.
Since you did approve the calendar, then if you want to go ahead and set the graduation date, since the last day for students is Thursday, May 21st. If you want to go ahead and set that graduation date on the 22nd.
Okay. Mr. Dorsey makes a motion.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Kaiser. That's not your last name. Is that your last name?
Yeah, he's right now.
Any discussion? No?
No, I'm all.
All for it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. For high school graduation to be on May 22nd, I believe that's a Friday,
Friday.
7 p.m.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Will we have to have a? Make that day.
Oh, gotcha. Super on that. The next agenda item is consider approval of the sale of district's EBS license with FCC call sign of WLX914. Mrs. Ellis.
It's a mouthful. So hopefully you've had a chance to read the board packet and information that Mr. Hurd provided. Is there any questions?
Questions, motion,
I'll make a motion.
motion. Mr.
I'll second
Kaiser,
that.
Second by Ms. Thomas. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, Ms. Ellis. Okay. Our next agenda item by Mr. Snell is consider approval of student accident insurance for the 26-27 school year.
You've got quotes there for the student accident insurance from Roberts Insurance Agents. I got Mr. Roberts and Mr. Neely here, in case you have any serious questions that I can't answer.
You brought in the big guys back
That's
here.
right,
I'm
buddy.
just telling you. I can't stop staring at them.
Thank you all for coming.
Thanks for having us. For sure, I'd be happy to answer any questions, if anybody has any.
Questions?
The AIG came in cheaper than what we paid last year for the same coverage. It's the same claims processor, HSR
recommendation, Mr. Snell?
My recommendation would be with AIG, yes.
Thank you.
So I'll make that motion to accept AIG insurance.
Have a motion by Ms. Your second? We got, let's go. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Right. All right, our next agenda item is consider approval for the 26-27. This is crazy, and 27-28 calendars for the Nest, CCPS Aftercare, and Clark County Preschool. Mrs. White.
Good evening. I'm just bringing a few calendars tonight to seek approval for the Department of Early Learning. So the first one is the 26-27 Nest calendar. And then we also have the 27-28 Nest calendar, and we're just trying to mimic what the district is doing, so we're ensuring that we're doing 2 years at a time. Or do we want to go through all of these calendars?
Are the calendars in line with the school? So the same days out, or is there different days out with these?
They're basically the same, so the Nest, you're gonna see that the Nest will open during the professional development days, so their staff comes back 4 days before, so that they can do their trainings and stuff. So, it's really just to accommodate the staff and what they need to work.
And then with the preschool, sometimes you have to switch up a little bit because you have more days out.
So we have a few non-instructional days because we do home visits and things like that, so that our teachers go out and go to all of our students' homes and visit them in their house. So we have a couple of days throughout the year that we do those kinds of things. And then other things like parent-teacher conferences, and then we do trainings because we are a full-day program. So we have to have a couple of extra days to squeeze those things in for our staff.
When you get another 100 or something students, might be more time.
We'll make it work, we got this. And then for the aftercare, it basically just mirrors the school calendar. Except for you'll see that anything in the blue is the days that we are open, such as like fall break, Christmas break, spring break. So we do offer care during those times. And we had like almost 100 students right now enrolled for spring break.
Do I have a motion or any questions or comments?
They're actually on the same agenda items, I think we can.
Yeah, I think they're all attached to the agenda.
I make a motion to approve 26, 27, 27, 28 calendars for the Nest, CCPS, Aftercare, and Clark County Preschool.
Motion by Mr. Kaiser. I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, Mrs. White. Our next agenda item is consider approval for renewal of athletic trainer contract with University of Kentucky's Healthcare. Mr. Watkins.
So UK sent us a updated contract for the next 3 years to continue a partnership with them for athletic trainers. There's a price increase on it, just so you're aware. But I think they have provided a good service and it's been a good partnership. So my recommendation would be to continue it.
What was the percent? Do you have a percentage?
It increased about $25,000.
But still, I think it's a good thing.
For that, we get 2 certified athletic trainers working full-time, 40 hours a week.
They work a lot.
Then they may work more than that sometimes.
Last 2 weeks, I worked about 170 hours a week. We were rolling.
I mean, there's a basketball game tonight, baseball game the next day, football the next day, yeah.
It's well
Sometimes
worth
they're
it.
split, so they're,
Do I have a motion or any other questions?
I'll make that motion to accept.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Thomas,
I'll second.
second Mr. Kaiser. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank Thank you. And then the next agenda item with Mr. Watkins is consider approval of the local planning committee proposal to amend the district facility plan.
So at the last board meeting, you all approved the reconvening of the local planning committee for the purpose of a finding on the district facility plan. The LPC did reconvene and approve the finding to surplus the current central office building and add pending Katie approval the purchase of the 273 Shoppers Drive building from the Clark County Health Department.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Kaiser.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Dorsey. Any discussion?
So we had to do this, and it's gonna be turned in, and then they approve this, so we still have to wait on approval from the state for this.
Correct. We would send in this updated district facility plan along with the letter, the survey, some other things on that. They had a checklist of things that we had to do to get the approval for the property purchase.
Okay.
And Ms. McCoy and I have been working on that.
See, after we
Take care of the central office and then worry about all that, adjusting.
yeah.
With the surplus, is it just the building or the Board of Education building and the parking lot? Is there like dimensions or?
Basically where it's the current central office building, the area that is on the DFP is the operations building with the garage bays and some offices. And that blacktop area behind it, basically the fence that runs down through there separates that property from the bus garage.
We just get another one of this.
Good, we've got a lot of discussion. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 4-0. I'll ask Mr. Brian Buckner to come up, and the next agenda item is consider approval of construction bids for the roof renovation at Baker Intermediate and RDC, and this is BG number 26107.
All right, good evening. This is, if y'all don't know yet, this is Craig Music. He's with Codell Construction. He's the project manager, responsible for all the work that's getting ready to come up here throughout Clark County. So what we have tonight, we have done the first phase, what we're calling phase A and B bidding. So that encompassed both of the roof projects, both the renovation over at Baker Intermediate to go over that roof system there and replace the low slope areas with spray foam. And then over on RDC where we're doing the spray foam scarification and replacement over the entirety of that building. The other project that we also bid was the HVAC and miscellaneous renovation. Miscellaneous renovation part over there at RDC. So we can walk through the kind of specifics of each of these, but we'll start with the roof projects. So the bids came in very well. We had two kind of volumes of documents over there. We have two different types of contractors that will be responsible for that work. One is responsible for the project at Baker, and a separate contractor responsible for RDC, that's a spray foam contractor. Starting with the spray foam, that came in very well. That came in about $100,000 under the last estimate that we received. Spray Tech is a company that has worked here in the district in the past. They've done some work already over at RDC. They're great to work with. You all have been working with them before. We work with them quite often. They do great work. So my recommendation there would be to go ahead and accept the bid for Spray Tech to conduct the work over at RDC. And then we have the contractors that bid. We had several contractors bid for the roof work at Baker. The low contractor was D&I. They're out of Georgetown. We have, my office has had very limited experience working with them. And the couple times that we've worked with them, they've done low slope membrane work.
So I don't have very good experience with them. I think the same thing goes for
Yeah,
Roselle.
same with us. So we've worked with those guys before. We did a project over in Millard with those guys. They did a good job. This would probably be one of the larger scale projects that they had taken on. We vetted them and went through and got some references on those folks. And nobody had anything bad to say about them, but this would probably be one of the bigger projects that they had tackled. So with that, you know, keep in mind scheduling, things of that nature. We're still gonna run over just a little bit into the next school year. We're gonna get the lion's share of it done during summer break, but some of that will likely bleed over. So we don't have a ton of wiggle room with them. They're bonded, all their bid docs check out. We just don't have enough, we don't have a ton of experience with them, and we couldn't find anybody that did. They're a fairly new company. They do have bonding capacity. They didn't have any trouble getting the bid bond. They're not gonna have any trouble getting a performance and payment bond, or so they tell us, which I have no reason to believe they won't. We had a job with them up at Miller. It went well. It was much smaller, but we had zero issues with them. Now, I spoke with another maintenance gentleman in Glasgow, Kentucky. They did about $1,050,000 roof standing seam, just like what we're getting ready to do at Baker. The roof didn't have near as many cuts to it, didn't have near as many angles to it. He did say they got it finished. Their building is dry. It took them a little longer than what they had expected, but he didn't have anything, you know, he didn't say run. He had an okay experience with it. So we just want to be transparent. I don't think, I don't have any reason to stand here and tell you you should not hire these folks, because I wouldn't want to do that to them, because nobody has come out and told me that. We just don't have a ton of history with those folks, like we do the majority of the contractors in the state. So with that said, that's kind of where we're at. Again, they would be bonded, so you would have some buffer there, you would be somewhat protected. And of course, we're gonna drive and push all we can to make sure that they stay doing what they're supposed to be doing. And we have mechanisms in place to force their hand if they don't.
They are certified installers from DMI, which is the metal panel manufacturer. So there's nothing in terms of the formal proposal or anything that they issued that would, you know, cause us to, you know, attempt to reject anything, certainly, just like Craig said. But it's just worth noting. I think more the concern on our end would be schedule adherence primarily. But again, you all have measures in place that you can.
We have mechanisms in place to try to combat that. So if we see them start to slip, we can take action. Now, sometimes that action can get lengthy, so on and so forth. But we just want to make sure that we're being 100% transparent with you guys, so you can make an informed decision. But I think based on what we're seeing, I can't point to anything directly to say don't go that direction, because it would be unfair to those guys. I don't want to do them that way.
Sure. What kind of savings are we talking about between the two companies? If you
So,
can frame that for us, board.
go ahead, Brian.
I was just gonna say, so we had, we have 6 total?
We have 5 total.
So we had, DNI was the lowest, the second lowest was Olympic Construction. We would, if you were to look at a different contractor, we would be looking at number 3. They're having a ton of issues with them currently. The difference between those two specific contractors is just a little bit over $200,000.
It is. It's about a $240,000 delta.
It's a significant amount. You know, the third one would be CalProof, who did the work over at the new preschool. They're a larger organization, and you know they're better in terms of, you know, probably being able to meet the schedule and things like that. But that's totally up to you all what you all want to do there. So it's a big change.
They've been around. I mean, you'll be paying for it, obviously.
Sure.
And that's a big number.
That's a big number difference, correct?
I can certainly appreciate that. The second place contractor, like Brian said, we want to just move right over them. We're having issues with them on 2 different projects, and we would not recommend using those folks.
On the D&I, I think if we have a conversation at the beginning on, you know, our concerns with scheduling, you know, I think just that way.
I don't disagree with you at all, and I've had some of those preliminary discussions with those folks, and they're saying all the right things. Now, again, contractor, which they wanna get the job awarded, so I would probably be saying the same thing they are. But with that said, absolutely, for sure, 100%.
So we'll have a pre-construction meeting with them, and we'll lay kind of all that on the table with them to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So,
I don't think we can just close our eyes on $200,000 savings.
It would be my recommendation to go with them at this point.
We gotta give a chance.
Yeah. And I appreciate for the record, your all's transparency on it.
Yeah.
Because it's important for the board members to understand what we're talking about.
Absolutely,
So thank you.
absolutely, yes.
So, Brian, I know we've talked a lot about the roof, that, you know, to preserve this building, it's 30 years old. So this work on the roof, how long that we're gonna do, is it to extend the life of, I know it hasn't really, there hasn't been much roof work up till now, and this company coming in will do what you've presented to us, right?
yes, that's correct. They'll be required to adhere to the construction documents, the specifications, and all of that. And so the way that has been laid out, and the manufacturer that they're using for this is the basis of design that we use. DMI is a great outfit, they make great products. They're also using Spray Tech, who is doing the work over at RDC. So where we have the low roof areas between the wings over at Baker, one of those is a PVC membrane, the other one is a spray foam membrane. We're gonna take all those down to deck. That's where the majority of the leaking issues at Baker have occurred, and all that's gonna be new roof, you know, from the deck up. And so, Spray Tech will be doing that work just like they're doing at RDC as well. So that's all good. Like, those are great things. And as far as the longevity of the roof system, it'll have a 20-year NDL warranty. So no dollar limit warranty, which is typical for the roofs of that type. So hiring them doesn't change any of that in terms of the adherence to the specifications or the products that they're going to be installing. So I have 2 copies of the roof replacement BG1 just for kind of record's sake, just to show what it would look like, the difference between those two and how that kind of filters through, you know, the total project cost amounts, just for reference. So the one that you should have here on the top has a total amount of $3,254,495. That's a combination of D&I's bid and Spray Tech's bid. So both of those projects are combined into one. You'll see then the adjustments as it follows down below between the A&E fee, the construction manager fee. It auto updates the construction contingencies as well for KDE. And so the next step would be, if we are, I'm getting ahead of myself, I'm sorry, we would need to approve the bids for the roof projects for D&I and Spray Tech to conduct that work. And then the next step would be to go and approve a revised BG1.
So I'll make a motion to approve the construction bids for the roof renovation of Baker Intermediate Road to Campbell, BG 26-107.
Do we need to say, did you say that, Spray Tech?
No, I mean, that's what, we don't.
We don't have to do that?
It's all under that.
It's all
It's
under
under
that.
Okay.
Under that.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Kaiser,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Dorsey. Is there any further discussion needed or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. So the next agenda item is consider approval of the revised BG1 form for the roof renovations at Baker and Robert RDC BG 26107.
I'll make the motion
Okay.
to approve the revised BG1 form.
Okay, motion by Mr. Dorsey,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Thomas. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Okay, so the next agenda item is consider approval of construction bids for the miscellaneous renovations at RDC 26108, BG 26108.
So for this project, we had multiple bid packages for that work, just to span the different types of contractors or subcontractors that will have come in and perform the work. So if you all recall, the renovations at RDC will be an HVAC replacement over, you know, the majority of the building. We also have a general trades package that will cover ceiling work and the door replacements as part of that. We have a mechanical contractor, a general trades contractor, and then we'll have an electrical contractor to handle all the electrical components as part of that. So we had 5 general contractors contractors go after the general trades package. The lowest was Rising Sun. I think that everybody's probably familiar with them. They did a lot of work over at the preschool, and I've also worked on some of the field house and a few other things here in Clark County. So they're very familiar to us. We do a lot of work with them, and that's a very good number. And so they also, we'll talk about the alternates here in just a minute, but the second bid package was for the mechanical systems. So Somerset Mechanical was the sole bidder for that, but their number came in very, very nice. So it's quite a bit lower than what we had projected and estimated during the cost estimation phase at DDs and CDs. So their number was $1,945,000. The additional bid package that we had was for the electrical work. We had two bidders on that, Weimar and Fayette Electric. Weimar was low, they're here local, they've done a ton of work for the district here. I know Billy, for instance, has a really good relationship with them. They've done a lot of work together on buildings here. So again, that was a great number as well. And so we have, collectively no issues with the low bidders on those packages. Additionally, we had several alternates that we had priced out for the contractors. One was for the window replacement on H-wing on public-facing windows. So Rising Suns was $116,900 for that amount of work. The second alternate was to correct and replace the ceiling in the media center, as well as adding new lighting in that space. So there's a number from Rising Sun for the ceiling work for $36,500, and then a number from Weimar for the lighting that was $147,818. So I combined both of those together. That total number is $184,318. The third alternate was for the whole building fire alarm system. Weimar's number for that was $309,500. That's pretty close to what our estimates were. I think we were estimating about $330,000 for that. Should have it right here in front of me. Yeah, 445. Sorry, it was higher. So the number that Weimar had was quite a bit lower than our latest estimate on that. So that's good. The fourth alternate was for the HVAC owner-preferred control system. That was no cost add for that. And then the fifth one was for the owner-preferred door hardware systems to match everything else that we have in the district so far. So again, that was a no dollar add for that amount as well. So only 3 of the 5 alternates had a cost associated with it. The total number, if you just take the base bid numbers, was $2,321,191. And then if you add in the alternates at $610,718, the total amount is $2,931,909. And that is what is reflected on the BG1 that I have in front of you all, is to go ahead and accept all the alternates, and you are still right about $1 million low from what we were looking at on our previous estimates. So I think when we looked at it before, our total was maybe 3.875 base bid, so not even including the alternates. So you're almost $1 million low with all of the alternates included. So that's great.
And you got 3 great contractors.
Yeah, great contractors as well.
And they're all fantastic.
Sorry, go ahead.
On Somerset Mechanical, it always scares me when a bid comes in that low.
So
Check back with them to make sure.
we
they
have,
miss anything.
and they work pretty closely with thermal equipment and Billy when we were kind of getting out of the gate on some of this stuff. So they understand the scope. They're as far as I'm concerned, they've convinced me that they understand the scope very well.
They include all 3 of the addenda items. Shroud Tate Wilson didn't have an issue with them as a contractor or anything like that as well. So when they
I just did a lot of work.
I understand. I'm the same way.
Thermal equipment's been really good to work with for us, so I
Yeah.
really appreciate the recommendation on that.
Yeah, we've got him on a couple of projects, and so far they're really
Those guys are
performing just fine. So.
I love saving money.
Yeah.
If we save money there, we can spend it someplace
There you
else.
go. That's how it works. isn't it?
That's a woman's way of thinking.
That's my way of thinking, yes, ma'am.
So, we need to approve
We're on
bids
number
and
10.
then provide ED.
I think we need to do 10 first.
So 10 gets all the alternates, everything we vote on this approval, that gets alternates in that, everything, right?
I have all the alternates including this number, the $2,931,909
Yeah.
at the top of the BG1. That's correct. Yes.
That gets it all.
Okay.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
And I'll also make a motion to approve the revised PG1 form.
Motion by Mr. Dorsey, second by Mr. Kaiser. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Okay, number 12 is consider approval of the construction documents for the practice field at GRC Fieldhouse, PG 26108.
All right, so we're waiting for, basically tonight, if we get the approval on the construction documents for the GRC practice field, we're gonna go ahead and release those documents, at the end of this week, over to Codell to, consider whether we're gonna go ahead and bid those documents, or if we want to, I think that's a different point of discussion, how we're gonna kind of handle that for right now. We can go ahead and bid those documents, but it may make some sense because we have,
So kind of what we were talking through and thinking about is, we've got Rising Sun on the renovation over at RDC in the last BG. They do a ton of athletic fields, they do a ton of earthwork, all the things that's what he's getting ready to put out, they're very competent at and excel at. So we're thinking possibly having those guys work us up a price to see how close it is to his budget. And we may, if you guys would be willing to entertain that, maybe possibly change order that into this other project and be able to save a ton of time on the front end of that.
I agree with that. I definitely think it'd be much easier to keep the same contractor.
It tends to lend itself to more continuity, the whole nine. Plus, we have some control over the schedule. As I know, spring soccer is kind of a hot topic item around here right now, understandably. Should we put it out to bid? We certainly can. You're talking about probably lose 6 weeks just to the ins and outs of bidding.
And there's no problem legally that we have to bid this?
No.
Because it's on the BG already?
That's correct, and you guys adopted House Bill 678, I'm pretty sure. So you would be absolutely within your parameters to do that if you decided to do so.
And that would be my recommendation.
Yeah, I think it makes total sense.
I think it makes the most sense. And then worst case, they send us back something that we don't like, we take it and bid it.
Yeah, we can tell them up front that it's like, this is, we can bid this just as easily, so, and get, a better number if we don't feel like what they provided was within, the parameters.
Excavation at the preschool, didn't it?
I wouldn't think it would require much, earthwork.
No, it's pretty flat right there.
Yeah, I think there might be some retaining wall work in some of it, but nothing too crazy. And we just did, and they got 2 fields with us, so we have some fairly recent data on the sports field, the earthwork, all the things. So we have some very current information that we can compare that to kind of keep those folks in line and certainly be able to tell what we're looking at.
And we've had several other turf projects bid here recently, so just in terms of numbers and cost per square foot, things like that, we'll be able to, easily kind of go back and forth and evaluate that. So, but we've worked with Rising Sun so much, I mean, it would be fair, it would be to their benefit to add this to the contract, so.
We just need to approve the documents.
Correct.
All right, so I'll make that motion to approve the construction documents for the practice field at GRC.
Motion by Mr. Kaiser. I'll second the motion. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes to approve the construction documents for the practice field at GRC Fieldhouse, PG 26108. Our next agenda item is consider approval of the schematic design for the football field renovation at RDC. And it has the same BG number, 26108. Mr. Buckner.
And again, this is something that we will also consider potentially adding by change order to Rising Sun's contract. So if they get the practice field turf for that project, they can very easily do the work over here at RDC. We can obviously continue that discussion as we go through the bidding phase with these. But, we would, reach out to them to look for numbers and see that. And as we go through the process of documenting the RDC field, we'll get some updated numbers from Rising Sun, kind of reach out to them early. We had just, for total transparency, we were estimating initially that this would be about $1.2 million for this work. We had a field, recently that was just the football field portion that bid for $1 million. So what we're showing here, and I kind of talked to Brandon about this a little while ago, what we're gonna have here is a little bit more complicated than that. So we have an existing site that's gonna require some additional grading work around it. We've got a large, potentially large retaining wall about 10 feet high, typically up against the parking lot side. So actually, I'll show it to you over here. So this is the existing bleacher system here at RDC. The existing field sits right about in this area, and then the parking lot behind RDC is here. There's another row of parking that's right here that you're not seeing in this image because we're expanding into that. So this white kind of box that we have going all the way around the perimeter up until this point is a large retaining wall, and it would be very similar to the one that we installed over at the preschool. We also have a small retaining wall on this side over here to be able to kind of navigate the high grades as it drops down. So in this image, you are seeing a football field, and you're seeing a soccer striping over top of that. That soccer striping is a 60-yard wide field, and so what now that we've gone back and forth with the survey and we're able to lay this out, this is really good because it affords you all the ability to have a 60-yard wide field. We were kind of in that between 55 and 60-yard range. So at 55, you'll be able to host districts, but not regionals per KHSAA. But with 60, you can also host the regionals, as well as the first and second rounds of the state tournament. So we have the ability to kind of host, a much wider range of events here with that field size, and you also have at least a 10-foot overrun on the sides as well as the ends there as well. So additionally, we kind of started thinking about this, like let's look at if you really wanted to take full advantage of the site in the existing conditions, what would you do from a turf standpoint? And one of the ideas was to go ahead and turf this whole area here to this access road that goes to the field house. That way you don't have an awkward little area that you need to mow and maintain and all that kind of stuff. And if we were to do that, we looked at having kind of a drill area as well as some kind of sleeve locations for softball practice in that area as well. So that's great. That would be really amazing to have that. It does extend the amount of total turf on that field by about an additional 30%. So if you're looking at the field itself being somewhat close to that $1 million range and then extending this out, it would be quite a bit extra money. So our recommendation now, as we can continue to go through Ds and Cs with this, would be to look at that as a potential alternate. I mean, we could just not do that at all. That's totally fine. But if we want to show that as an alternate, I think we can, and we can get a price for it, and we can evaluate that when the price comes in for it.
And then once we got the bids in, the board could decide.
You can decide whether
how much money it's gonna cost to do this, or this, and this, or this, and both.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
And so with this, you can taper this back to just a 10-foot minimum overrun on this side. It also, mainly, it's also decreasing that retaining wall. So the retaining wall would kind of kick back here at this corner instead of extending all the way down and around. So you're saving a lot of money from an excavation point or standpoint as well, not just the turf amount. So all things to consider. We'll refine this as we go through the DD phase here, and we start to get some initial cost impact coming back from Rising Sun to get some estimates pulled together. But I think it's shaping up nicely. The survey's been a big help getting that information in there and knowing what to do on the site. We have a meeting tomorrow with Shrout Tate Wilson to look at some issues where there's some existing utilities that are running through the site currently. Two of those were determined to be clay pipe storm lines and sanitary lines. So that's a bit of a problem because we've run into issues in the past where clay lines have collapsed under fields, and you have to dig up the field to get to them. And so those lines are about 10 feet down right now, 9 feet down below grade currently at the deepest. And so our concern would be that if something happened in 5 years, that you're tearing up this really, really nice turf field to get access to that. So we're gonna look at some options for how we might address that with this project, and then we'll kind of talk through that at the next meeting. Okay.
I'm sure that'll come in the next meeting too. Are we talking about a concrete forward wall, or are we talking about
images. I printed them out for y'all as well. The second image is identical. It just has kind of a legend and a guide for specific instances in the plan. So just for reference, I feel like I've fed y'all a lot of information. So.
Let's look on here, just a woman.
Does anyone have any other questions?
I'll make the motion to approve the schematic design for the football presentation.
Motion by Mr. Dorsey. Second by Mr. Kaiser. Any other discussion, questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, folks, so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
No problem.
Thank you, John.
And again, the plan for this is gonna be, we kind of approved SDs today. Next month it'll be DDs, and then CDs the following month in May. And so, I think if it works out to send that over to Rising Sun, that would be amazing. We're cutting out quite a bit of time from the bidding standpoint process, so.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you in the next couple
All
months.
right, see ya.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So much. Okay. Our next agenda item is, consider approval of updates to the alternative credit options policy. Mrs. Kelly Pippin.
Currently, the alternative credit options item number 6 places a cap on the number of dual credit hours that can be placed on a student's transcript. With it being March of this year, we do not want to make any changes for this current school year, but we would like to add the verbiage of through the class of 2026, so that following this particular class, that we would not have a cap on the number of dual credit classes that can be placed on a transcript. So that way we can have a more full picture of what a student's academic experience looks like. Moving forward, after this particular class graduates, we feel that we can completely remove item number 6, but we did not want to do so until this class actually graduates, so it still stays intact. But we wanted to add that verbiage now as our current underclassmen are scheduling, and then when they do get promoted onto the next grade level, we can ensure that all dual credit classes are placed on the current transcript with no caps. So I will, if approved tonight, I would like to bring this back after the graduating class of 2026 to completely remove item number 6.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve the updates to the alternative credit options policy. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Dorsey. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Did you say aye?
Exactly, why are you doing this? Why are we doing this now? Tell me.
Currently, there is a cap on the number of hours that can be placed on a transcript.
I see that.
It states right now that only 9 hours, and so we're wanting to update the policy and to remove that cap so that any number of dual credit classes that a student takes, they can all be reflected on the transcript. Right now, only 9 hours can be reflected. So we want to remove that cap because we do have students that take well more than 9 hours.
Aye.
Okay. Awesome, thank you. The motion passes 4-0. And the next agenda item is acknowledgement and consider approval of CCPS Comprehensive District Improvement Plan.
The Comprehensive District Improvement Plan is developed by a committee of multiple stakeholders. In the improvement planning process, stakeholders focus on priority needs, funding, closing achievement gaps. Within this plan, there are many goals that place 3 to 5 year goals within each of the content areas, objectives. It also mentions the strategies, activities, how we're going to progress monitor those, and any funding that's needed. So this is an annual update that we do every single year. We do have multiple stakeholders that are involved in this committee in order to create these goals, and it is stakeholders from every level from preschool all the way up to the high school. So we just ask that you acknowledge these and approve our district improvement plan with regards to academics.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Okay, motion by Ms. Thomas. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Kaiser. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will now call up Mrs.
So I always enjoy getting to see the interaction with students and the different things that are going on, and I kind of go back to the Stone Age when I was in school, and how things have changed. So it's always interesting. So I enjoy that, and I like to see, I get to see this beautiful building. I mean, this is great. I was trying to figure out where I was going today. And I live here in Winchester. Of course, other parts of the rec lot to work out. And I said, and we walk a lot from the group, and I said, I know it's for them. Talking to someone else, and like, well, I don't think, I sent you the directions. Like, I know it's right there. So I put it in my navigation because I don't do directions. So that's, I can tell you many stories on that because I travel a lot with my job. So, but anyways, I figured out the other day that Russell County is not in Western Kentucky. Obviously, my geography class in school did not follow me. So, but anyways, I make it. I'm thankful for navigation. But anyways, talking too much. Glad to be here. We've had the audit done. We met with Superintendent Howard and Alicia, I think back December 18th. And due to weather and different scheduling and all the board meetings are on the same night every month, so like I said, it's hard for us to get here. But we're finally here today. And I'm just glad to be here. I want to thank Superintendent Howard and Alicia and the staff, the board, you all, everybody, for a great audit. I think you all have gotten a copy of it, had a chance to look at it. It's a good, clean audit this year.
Is it good, it's good and clean?
Yes, good and clean, it's real good and clean. That's what we call an unmodified opinion, but Alicia will attest to this, an audit is a lengthy process. It may seem like just, 70, 80 pages worth of paper, but there's a lot of work that goes into this. We look at a lot of things, we look at all of your internal controls, compliance issues, we look at things related to the documentation of transactions based on risk and materiality. So we look at areas of cash, revenue, debt, payroll, student activity funds, federal compliance, which is your federal money, your uniform guidance audit, part of the audit, and just a lot of different areas. And this audit report results as a reflection of the day-to-day work of Alicia and her staff and the board. It takes us a united effort to have a good audit. You all are intentional once you approving your bids, doing your due process, things of that nature. It all rolls up into one, kind of like your report card. So it's, like I said, a lengthy process. We know Alicia a lot, but she's been really, really great. This year we had to talk about it, we had to implement new standards, so that's just something that was different. And our objectives as auditors is to obtain reasonable assurance. And not absolute assurance, but a high level of assurance that the financial statements are prepared in accordance with the financial reporting framework as required, which is GAAP, and you've met all your regulatory compliance requirements, and that there's no material errors, whether due to error or fraud. And so based on that, and based on our work, as I said, we're glad to present a good, clean, unmodified opinion this year again. So, again, a lot of our work goes into that. Your all's work and then our work, so it's a lot of hours. But anyways, like I said, we talked about implementing GASB 101. So the one thing that you might notice in the audit report this year that is a little bit different, there's an emphasis of matter paragraph in your report, in your independent auditor's report, and it just discloses that GASB 101 had to be implemented for all governmental accounting people under GASB's, and that's just where they're taking a more comprehensive look at compensated absence balances. KDE districts throughout the state always just did a termination type benefit calculation, and this year it's more comprehensive. It encompasses all of balances and not just based on termination, legal rules, things of that nature. So Alicia was instrumental in working through that with us because that was a major calculation and implementing that, and then also it required a restatement of your net position for the year. Now, I know I'm fortunate enough with audit talk, but just to kind of give you an idea of what is going on there. If you do see that, you might be concerned. But any questions?
Really good.
It's good.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you. Look forward to working with you again, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next agenda item is an update on our monthly financial status.
property taxes are, also when it comes to property tax specifically, we were 101% the same time last year as we are this time. Franchise, we're at 66 this year, 53 last year. Motor vehicles 52, and we were 49 last year. So we're tracking a little bit ahead this year compared to we were last year at the same time. But when we look at what we have just collected, which will be reflected in next month's, motor vehicles actually at 60% now, sheriff is at 103, and franchise is at 78. So we're doing really good in meeting those budgets that we are projecting on. So that is good for our financials. We are on track. Excuse me. Any questions on anything?
An acknowledgement, and our next agenda item is to authorize payment of salaries and accounts payable. I make the motion to authorize payment of salaries and accounts payable. Second by Mr. Dorsey. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay. Our next agenda item is consider approval of KET's second offer of assistance.
So this is the second offer that makes up the KETS grant that we have for the year. So it's the KSENS technology budget. So this is the second offer that we would need to accept and that the board would match to make that grant for next year.
Motion by Mr. Kaiser,
All second.
second by Mr. Dorsey. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Our next agenda item is consider approval of renewed banking services.
So we're recommending that we renew another year with Traditional Bank, our banking bond depository. They're offering the same rate that we currently have with them, which currently with the way Fed Fund is falling, it's 3.25%. So we're asking that we renew another year with them.
I'll make the motion.
Motion, Ms. Thomas. I'll second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. And then the next agenda item is consider approval of renew audit services.
So, as you just spoke with our, Ms. Patrick, we were asking that we renew another fiscal year of her company auditing us for the current fiscal year we are in. We've established a good working relationship, and we're asking that we look for another year.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, so I'll say Mr. Dorsey made the motion and Mrs. Thomas seconded the motion, if that's okay? Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Mrs. Ellis. Our next agenda item is consider approval of 03.1322 gifts.
So HR has taken on a task of reviewing hundreds of policies and procedures. Yes, KSBA does keep us up to date with regs that change, but we also wanted to make sure we were aligned with some of the new things that we were doing. So we've started going through all of our Chapter 3 policies and procedures, and anything that's significantly old, we're taking a look at. So the two before you tonight are almost 30+ years old. So we are definitely still in compliance, but now we've put eyes on them and refreshed them a little bit, and that's what we're bringing to you tonight. Nothing has changed with the 03/13/22 gifts.
So they're not supposed to accept Christmas gifts or anything like that?
It's a
Or
law.
do we, as a law?
It was a law that was established many, many, many years ago when you would pay off your teacher to scribble in and change the grade book. And it was paper and pencil. So I have talked to a few people about getting this updated with the state, but because we now have electronic grading, which is time-stamped and documented, that really doesn't happen anymore. So we're just kind of waiting for everybody else to catch up to the fact that there is no altering of grades anymore. But that was the purpose. I think it was 60+ years ago when this regulation was put into place. I even heard a story about an ice cream being offered for a grade book change.
I can only imagine.
And on how long you
refresh it, make sure we're still aligned with the KRSs, and we are.
I'll make a motion to approve, policy 0.3.1. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Berlin. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. We are now on our superintendent's report.
Sure, just want to kind of recap some things that have been going on in the district the last month or so. I want to give a huge shout out to our cafeteria staff, Dr. Muncie, all their work for our spring connection meal events. How many meals do we have a count yet?
I do not have a count yet because we still have 4 more.
4 more to go. So those are happening and upcoming. Again, leaning into our vision and mission of connecting the district, community as one, to grow greatness in all of our kids. So also huge maintenance has been outstanding to help us. We've got volunteers coming everywhere, and really thankful for all of our families sitting down and sharing a meal with us and getting to know our buildings and our staff even at a deeper level. So gigantic success.
Please come have a meal. I saw Ms. Thomas today yesterday, so please come by and have a meal. It's delicious.
And delicious.
I'll be back Thursday.
Also, to bring your attention, we're having our spring showcases at each school for our Portrait of a Learner work. I know some have already happened, some are happening, but it's really our intentional effort of schools to transform what were open houses into engagement events, where our kids are giving presentations, our kids are leading conversation, our students are showcasing how they are meeting the standard of our Portrait of a Learner. So they are showcasing how they're empowered leaders, how they're resilient learners, how they're effective communicators, how they're reflective innovators, engaged citizens, committed collaborators. And this is, if you remember, Ms. Hills, she's outstanding in her presentation, kind of on our journey. So this is this year's kind of stepping stone of where we're going to showcase the competencies in the spring, and then we will build on that for next year. But if you get a chance to come out to those, Ms. Fitz and I went to a building and kind of had a preview, and it's just outstanding. I mean, to see our kids, even in 4th grade, I think I was at Strode, standing up in front of the superintendent giving a presentation, like, that wouldn't have happened when I was growing up. And they did it with confidence. Our Phoenix Academy / CSC students are giving presentations and showcasing that we're not just talking about our kids being these things, they're displaying it, right? Which gives us hope and gives us proof that we are growing greatness in Clark County. I'll just generally say we're winning at everything. If you've been around and you don't know that, you're not paying attention. I know that the highlight have been on boys and girls. The first time in 100 years, I say ever, because there were different systems, won state basketball championships. But at the same time, we've got our archery crew winning regions. We've got softball, baseball starting. We've got our band, our color guard had a huge event. So I don't want the light to only shine on things that get parades. We are growing greatness in everything we do. So I'm super proud, and we'll continue to highlight that, which leads me into our showcase. Board of Education meeting will be at RDC. That's April 21st. We changed locations because we're growing so much greatness. They've got a band percussion event. But we will highlight all kinds of students at that special call meeting, and that's coming up on April the 21st. Of course, we had a ribbon cutting today, so huge shout out to Ms. Bush, maintenance, our co-op students who are working for maintenance work their tails off, making this happen. Again, growing greatness. We got kids on co-op that are coming back and working. And then, of course, we highlighted all of our wonderful partnerships tonight of the folks that are, again, pouring into our vision of connecting the community and the district as one. In case you're under a rock, there's this thing called spring break. It's next week. So I am canceling class next week for students. We put that on the board report, and our staff are clapping now too. If you're on extended contract, you can work those days. But just a reminder, we will be shutting down for a week and then welcome our kids back for a 6-7 week run, and then graduation, like we just said for tonight, so, that is all my updates, unless you guys have questions.
Well, thank you, Mr. Howard. Lots of wonderful things. So, the next is consent agenda items. Do I have a motion? I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. The next agenda item is we are going to adjourn to closed session for KRS 61.80 and KRS, 81. I guess this is, there it is. KRS 156.557 for this evening. We are now